Ben McKee, Rucker here with our Around the Horn following Tennessee's 8-4 win over LSU here on Sunday afternoon to complete the sweep of LSU, a very important and nice sweep for Tennessee. And as we talked about last night, kind of winning in different ways this weekend. And today you got both production at the plate and on the mound. It was a really nice, well-rounded team win today.
Yeah, and let's not forget that team in the other dugout over there. That's the reigning national champions, and they're kind of trying to fight to salvage their season. They got a lot of dudes over there. Those guys didn't just lay down there and take these losses. Those had to be earned. Every single one of them did. In Tennessee, the difference in the two teams over the course of 3 days, man, it wasn't really that much at all. It was in the money moments, man. Like 2 outs, runners in scoring position, offensively, defensively, pitching. Like when it mattered, Tennessee made the plays all 3 games, and you do that, and you can go out there and get a sweep.
Absolutely, and Christian Moore kind of led the way today, I thought, although there are some pitchers that we will talk about and need to talk about, but hard to ignore Christian Moore hitting his 41st career home run and his 42nd career home run to tie Blake Burke, his teammate, who nearly recaptured the home run record a couple of moments later, but ties Blake Burke for the career program home run record.
Yeah, I mean, just the whole top 3 of that Tennessee lineup is just nasty, man. It's like a hellscape for opposing pitchers. Like those 3 guys have all turned themselves into complete hitters. I mean, those guys, they hit for average, they spit on bad pitches, they'll go opposite field. Billy Amick, going, just poking the ball against the shift, which Blake Burke has done before. And then Christian Moore is as complete a hitter as you could possibly want to have at this level. I mean, just an unbelievably good baseball player. What a cool 115 off the bat on that homer, and then 2 strikes, 2 outs, and he goes, yard again there late. He is a hell of a player, man. Like, I know that Charlie Condon is probably gonna win the Golden Spikes. It's not him, then Caglione, you got Tommy White, but I'm telling you, man, Christian Moore is as good as any pure all-around baseball player in this country.
Yeah. Billy Amick in that same conversation, and that's Tennessee's 1 through 3, which is pretty crazy, especially when you consider who's hitting after those top 3 as well. It's a lethal lineup as we've come to know. On the mound, Xander Seacrest continues to prove himself as the 3rd starter in this rotation.
Yeah, and I thought it was a great and really candid comment there by Christian Moore, who said, I never, ever thought that Xander Seacrest, I love Xander, I never thought he would be a weekend guy, a Sunday guy here. But he's just kept working throughout his entire career. He's gotten better. And there he is, man. I mean, he's getting an opportunity, and he's taking advantage of it. And that's, you love those stories, man. You talk about guys like Ethan Payne also for Tennessee, those kind of guys who have been around the program forever, and they've either played midweeks or not played a lot. But when called upon, they can go in there and do a job. And I don't think Tony Vitello necessarily meant it as a dig, but he talked about how, you can't win anything like LSU won last season unless you have guys like that in your program. And he talked about the Belosos and guys like that. And he said, conversely, in his career, when he's not had those kind of guys, the season hasn't gone the way he wanted to. And maybe that's a difference in the kind of weekend that we saw here, is that Tennessee's got those guys.
Yep.
And right now LSU, despite all that top-end talent, doesn't have it.
No, not at all. Andrew Binky, another crafty lefty that continues to climb the pecking order in the totem pole of trust.
Yeah, he does. I mean, Vitello's been saying that all year. I'll give him credit for that. He's been saying, I want this kid, healthy, focused, dialed in, and when he is, he's like the next Kirby. And I think somewhere between maybe the next Kirby and the next, Will Mabry type, maybe somewhere in the middle there. But regardless, that's a lefty that you feel like you can use late game leverage. He's got enough confidence within himself to give Tony Vitello an evil, like a stink eye when he doesn't want to come out of the game, chirp a little bit. He's got some moxie to him, which Vitello loves, and he's got really good stuff. I mean, he doesn't throw 100, but, that low 90s, the way he mixes that stuff, he's a good pitcher, man.
He absolutely is, and the pitching staff as a whole, I think we learned quite about the group this weekend. I don't think LSU maybe has as much talent as I anticipated coming into the weekend from top to bottom, but it's still a lineup that is the defending champs, and they got some guys at the top of the lineup you do have to worry about. And I thought this was the most complete weekend for the pitching staff to this point in the season.
It was, and they were either, at times they were dominant, and at times they were good enough. And that's what you got to do, right? You got to have your best stuff when you need it the most. That was the entire story of Saturday. Drew Beam threw as many stress pitches as I've seen a starting pitcher throw in a game in a long time. The entire game he was throwing stress pitches. And in this game too, I mean, Tennessee broke it open a little bit late, but then Tommy White hits the two-run homer, gets some back. That you're never really comfortable against that bunch. You're just not. And those guys had to make pressure pitches, and they did. And you're starting to see them come together, right? I mean, Binky's coming in there. Combs looked as well as he has all season. You know, with him back, everything looks different. Snead, what he did yesterday. They still got to build a little more to get where they want to get, but like they're on that trajectory. That you can't deny that.
No, not at all. And they'll have a big test next weekend on the road when they travel north to face a top 10 Kentucky baseball team that looks really, really good. Looks as good as anybody in the conference right now, and really as anybody in the country. And we will have plenty of coverage of next weekend when it gets here. But in the meantime, we've got plenty of coverage up at the site at GoVols247.com of Tennessee's sweep of LSU, which doesn't happen too much for this program, but it happened this weekend, and we've got plenty of coverage of it up at the site. He's Wes Rucker. I'm Ben McKee.